Here we are on the Mile High Homestead channel, giving a little update. My wife and I have been out of town for the last 10 days. We were in China, so we didn't have cell service or anything, so we had my brother-in-law feeding these guys, but otherwise they were pretty much cooped up. And it's hard to tell in the videos, but they're huge compared to when we left. I think part of it was I wasn't giving them the right feed before. I was giving them scratch feed, and I really should have been giving them a better kind of a layer feed or feather feed, just because they're still putting on feathers. Anyway, so we switched their feed about 3 days before we left, so it's been 2 weeks, and they've easily doubled their amount of feathers on each bird, and probably gained at least 20-30% in weight each. So they're loving to be outside. They've been cooped up for almost 2 weeks. We tried to get this pen, as you can see, we tried to get it kind of set up so that this could be a little outdoor run that they could access from inside the coop. But we were torn between wanting them to have the ability to play around and having predators not be able to get in. So we erred on the side of caution and kept them cooped up for the time while we were gone, because we have hawks and other birds of prey around here a lot. We also, my brother-in-law said there was a cat in the backyard here that had found its way back while he was out feeding one morning. So anyway, we just wanted to be extra cautious, but we've put netting around the bottom of the coop on all sides, because they would tend to run under there, which is fine, but it made it hard to put them back in the pen. So the goal, on all sides except for this one right here, we've got the netting nailed in there, and then it's buried somewhat and folded and has support wire underneath. Anyway, so it's unless it's something big like a raccoon or something, nothing's gonna really get in there. Anyway, on this part, what we're thinking of is leaving this part, the underside, open, and then enclosing kind of this area back to that tree in poultry netting with some poultry netting up top as well, so that they can access this area and the underside of the coop while they're out and about playing without us having to let them out. We're just not quite at that point yet, so maybe in the next few weeks we'll get that done here. But they're really, as far as we can tell, they're getting along well. We've integrated the 3 younger ones with the rest of the flock, and they seem to be doing just fine. I'm not noticing any injuries of any kind on any of the birds. The ducks seem to be getting along well with everyone too. They've got all their watering needs met. We were going to put a little wheelbarrow basin right here, which is kind of why there's a pit, and these chickens have been climbing under this pallet to kind of take dust baths underneath. But anyway, we decided against it because it just wasn't going to work. Then we found this on our local kind of blog thing. It's just I can't remember how many gallons, but it's about a 2 foot by 2 foot by 3 foot basin we want to use as a kind of a swimming pool for the ducks. They haven't taken to it yet, but it's got a drain here on the bottom. So what we're going to want to do is put this somewhere closer to the coop, maybe bury it a tad, or otherwise make a good ramp system for the ducks to be able to get in and out. And then the garden over here is about 6 inches lower in elevation, so we're probably just going to run that drain pipe from there straight to the garden and empty it every few days or so, just to water the garden with and to keep the water clean, because the ducks will make a mess out of it. And that's kind of the goal, just to give the ducks plenty of space to swim and be happy. And it's kind of a mess out here just because we were scrambling to do what we could before we left. So this is their coop, the inside as it is now. So they've still got their heater back there. we should only need that for another couple weeks at most, because they're pretty much feathered out. We've got their feeder here. They've been spilling quite a bit with it, so I need to adapt it somehow. We've got the duck water right here, and then this other water that the chickens have been using, because I haven't been able to lower this nipple water to get the chickens to use that, and that way the chickens can use that, the ducks use that, and this whole area stays much cleaner. Just replace their bedding. I noticed in their bedding a lot of that scratch mix was down in here, and anyway, I kind of just spread it out along here and watered it a tad. A lot of the sprouts had already or seeds had sprouted, so that's fun. As you can see, I've got some more of that netting here and on this side as well, so we'd like to just confine them to this little area. They're also getting big enough that they can jump up on these little roosts, and then in theory could get out if they wanted to. So I'm gonna attach chicken wire to this side of the upper half of this fence, just to make sure they stay in when they're out ranging. And then we have over here so this is the garden area. We planted our Jerusalem artichokes on that left side of that fence right there, and then the back side of this far fence right here. And then this little wet patch and this little wet patch, we planted a bunch of seed onions. Yet to see any sprouts, but we'll see where that goes over the next probably 2 to 3 weeks. We'll start to see those sprouting depending on soil temperatures. Anyway, that's a little update. We've got some stuff going on in the sunroom indoors as well, but we'll have to cover that in another video. Anyway, thanks for watching and keeping up with our little birds. We've had a lot of fun with these guys. Steep learning curve. So far we've only lost one. We still don't know what exactly it was. It might have just been exposure or something else, but anyway, everyone else has seemed to be really happy, healthy, no problems at all, and we're expecting to get eggs here in about the next 4 months or so.